Welcome again. This is Brother G coming to you again with another video message, another video teaching. When you are blackmailed by the devil, and also when you are blackmailed not only by the devil, but you are blackmailed by demons. They come in all shape, form, sizes, looks, ethnicity, language, color, shape, shade. When you are blackmailed by the devil. And I'm going to show you an incredible image or an idea of a man who was blackmailed by the devil and stood against him upon the written word that was given to our ancestors in the spirit that was given to them, and he stand upon the rock, and the devil tried to blackmail him left, right, front, behind, underneath, around. Paul said it like this in the scriptures that was either given to us or forced upon us. Paul said it like this. Boy, I make a prophesy in a different sense. We are oppressed, are depressed upon every side by the enemy. But we can't give up because we know and as confirmed in our spirit, say nothing at all in this world can separate us from the love of God. Not heights, not depths, not demons, not dragons, not lizards, not any kind of form of enmity against the spirit of truth. We know so they are coming. But when you are blackmailed by the devil, when the devil have something on you, this is a message to young people. When the devil have something upon you, I'm going to tell you and I'm going to prophesy, his blackmail is much more sinister than an actual person in an actual body that is tempting you. Let me say this again. The devil and his minions' blackmail against you is much more sinister than an actual person in the flesh with that same spirit coming against you or enmity against the spirit of truth. Because the devil and his minion blackmail is relentless. And it's relentless, meaning it attack day, it attack night, it attack evening, it attack noon, it attack anytime. Any opening that's in your life, in your context, the spirit of truth say it like this. Walk in the spirit so you will not fulfill the desire of destructive lifestyle. So you have to walk in the spirit. You have to understand where you are. The time is now. I wouldn't even say the time now is evil. The time is now a perilous time. And if people now drop dead and they are not dying off initially, they are dying spiritually. Boom, dead. They are gone. Meaning they are gone into destructive life. This is a long introduction. But I'm going to show you a man who was blackmailed by the devil, and anybody who seek to follow this image of this man will be blackmailed by the devil and his minions relentlessly. What are they fighting? They're fighting for. They're fighting to cast everybody in the pit of hell and destruction and destructive lifestyle. When you are blackmailed by the devil, when you are blackmailed by his demons, it is relentless. So what is blackmail? Blackmail is the name given to a process, an activity that a person who have intimate details and information upon another person, and they are threatening to come publicly with that information to disparage, to cast down, and to put a blot upon that individual stature, especially if they're in high places. Blackmail is not only in the high sense of public scrutiny. Blackmail also happen in the lower parts of the earth. End result of blackmail, the net result of blackmail is money. Influence brings money. Power brings money. Authority brings money. Either cases you use blackmail, its end result, the net result of blackmail is either power, influence, but it's always connected to the God-given money. So blackmail, simply put, is just you have information on a person and you're just going to extort from that person as much as you can to keep their secret. That is blackmail. That's the word for blackmail. But I'm cautioning even myself, when the devil and his minions have information on you, that payment is going to be great. You see, you can't just pay it off in a one installment. This payment is going to be, if you're not powerful and stand up on the rock, this payment can be over a lifetime, even until your physical death. So unless you stand up on the rock and can push back against his attacks, you're going to be cast in the wind. So stay tuned. Let me show you the image of a man who the devil tried to blackmail, but he stood up on the rock. And so when the rain and the storm and the wind blow it, his foundation was so deep in the rock that when they blow, they couldn't. And when they huff and they puff and they blew at his house, they couldn't blow down his house. There's just a simple reason. He stand up on a rock. So Matthew 4 verse 1, when Jesus was now secured in his spirit to be the Son of the Father of creation, it says in Matthew 4 verse 1, then was Jesus led up into the spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. Many would say the spirit would be that led Jesus into the wilderness is the Spirit of God. No, not so, my friends. Don't err, my beloved. This spirit that led Jesus into the wilderness is the spirit of confusion, or the spirit of the enemy. Led him into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. Don't err, my brethren. God don't tempt no man with evil, because God cannot be tempted with evil, nor does he tempt any man. Do not err, my brethren. So this spirit that led Jesus up into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil was the devil. Let's read it like this. The devil led Jesus into the wilderness to tempt him of his belief in God, of his security in God, of his speech in God, of his image in God. So the devil lead him out in the wilderness where there is no support. So he think, so he thought. So tempt Jesus, to tempt him in his natural nature as a man. So the devil led him out into the wilderness. And of course, the symbolic idea of a wilderness is where there is no sustenance, there is no food, there is no support. So him led him out there all by himself and said, watch this. The devil said, watch this. I'm going to sift this man to see if what he believe in his heart and believe in his mind is true. And I'm going to tempt him so he can cast away all of his belief, all of what he believe in and he's exposing, and he want to walk around and teach. I'm going to tempt him in all of these with all the delicacy of this world. And let's see if this man don't succumb to my temptation. This is the devil trying to have something upon the image of Christ, upon the image of God. He's trying to have something on him. His initial intent is to have something upon him so that he can blackmail him with his life. Verse 2. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was after hungered. And when the tempter came to him, he said, if thou be the Son of God, command these stones to be turned into bread. Now, I did run ahead of myself in verse 1, but nevertheless, this is what the devil do. he forced you out in the wilderness. And so, whether this fasting was conscious, you did it of yourself, or it was subconscious or unconscious, you're in the wilderness. And when a person is in the wilderness, it's obvious. There's no sustenance out there. There's no substance out there. So you're going to get hungry. You're going to get two type of hunger: spiritual hunger and natural hunger, which is obvious. It's obvious. And so when him force you out into the wilderness where you don't have no opportunity to to see who you can be in this world that was given to us or was presented to us that we came into. You don't have no real opportunity to see if you can become something greater than yourself or others that's before you. You see them and you wish to become like them. And so when him forced you out into the wilderness, you get hungry, you famish spiritual and naturally. So now he's saying to the Son of God, he's saying to the man who profess in himself, say he's the Son of God, because the man recognized now, say, listen, I'm the Son of God. Not because you are Jacob and I'm Esau, I'm not the Son of God. I'm also the Son of God. And so the devil now coming to test him to see if what he believe in his heart, say he's the Son of God, he's going to test him now. Now here's the first test. Whether these tests are in sequence or not, I'm telling you, a lot of us is falling, especially those who are more eloquent and influential than me. The devil has came to them and said, turn these stones into bread. And many of them, the leaders them, that is flying higher than me, that is flying in high places than me, they are turning the stones into the bread, just like what the devil asked him to. He's saying, turn these stones into bread. And those people are acquiescing to the devil's New Testament dictation. Talk about wolves in sheep's clothing. And many people, let me say it again. The New Testament talk about wolves in sheep's clothing. And let me give you an insight about wolves in sheep's clothing. I guess they say back in the day, when people become rich, they wear, in the olden sense of gay, not homosexual, gay meaning bright clothing or expensive clothing. So when the New Testament talk about the wolves in sheep's clothing, it's not so necessarily talking about the person on the lower spectrum of the socio-economical status. He was more referring to the Pharisees, the scribes, the lawyers, the leaders, the senators, the kings, the captain, the priests, the popes. He was talking the president, the senators, the governors. He was mostly talking about people who are in high places with wealth, who wore sheep's clothing as a sign, the sheep's clothing as a sign of riches, of wealth, of having a great lifestyle. And so many of us, many people, a lot of stones believe in people in gay clothing, not the new sense of the word gay, but the old sense of the word gay. So a lot of us are influenced by people who wearing gay clothing, by wearing their status, by wearing in their fame and their fortune. A lot of us is mesmerized by those type of people, and that's what it's talking about. Wolves in sheep's clothing. Put it like this in the Proverbs. I think it was Solomon, and put it like this and say, let's throw our bags into the same bundle, if you should say. Let's throw our bag into the same bundle and let's lay and wait for the idiot them and then rob them. So this is what the devil, the spirit, as one prophet said, the spirit of the age is coming to Jesus and said, listen, if you're the Son of God, bro, he's really saying, let us turn these idiot people into bread. Let's turn them into our food. Let's turn them into fodder that we can live off them, that we can live off their labor. just like Egypt, like olden days, like present day Egypt. So the first temptation, which a lot of the people them that is flying higher than us, who are in high place of authority, they have lost this battle. And so the people, we at the bottom, not the bottom, is also mimicking and following them. Jesus said it like this. The words that was given to us are forced upon. Jesus said like this: don't do what them do. Don't do what they do. Very hard, because they are turning stones into bread. If Jesus did acquiesce to the devil and his minion and turn these stones into bread, you're going to see in the follow-up in this sequence of thing in Matthew. You see, if Jesus acquiesced to the devil's temptation here and try to turn stones into bread, he's going to have a lot of things against you and me to use against us to blackmail us later in your life if you decide not to use these stone as bread. He's going to say, hey, remember, we have this upon you. You remember, now in his temptation later down, you're going to see that his temptation is really the context of turning stones into Jesus bread. Let's keep going. Him and say, it is written, bro. Are you not my bro? It is written, enemy. Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of God. Now, this is the challenge, because the same prophet that we say we should believe in, or we believe in his word, we not listen to him either, because he says to the woman on the mountain, and he says to the Jew, no, at the time of this written, when this word was written, not even at the time of it is written word, before it actualized, before it was written, he said that now is the time where God seeketh true worshippers, those that worship him in spirit and in truth. So he said, no more to the woman at the well in John 4. No more in the mountain you should worship God. It's not a place where you worship God. It's not in Jerusalem where you worship God. But it's a spirit how you worship God in. You must have the spirit of truth. That is how you worship God. Not in a place, not in your house, not in an individual place. Because you see, the devil is very tricky. He made a lot of people go to any form of temple. It doesn't mean just church, any form of temple. And they present themselves as if they are a willing sacrifice or whatever it is. A lot of temple, any type form of temple. And everybody can go to the temple and form fool. In other words, they can create an act. But during their lifestyle, they put on a different show without being honest to themselves. And so the devil now have a blackmail or have issues upon a lot of people to say, look, you live this way, and you live this way. So I'm now going to tempt you continually for you to pay me through your lifestyle forever. But when you are blackmailed by the devil and his minions, and sometimes it actualizes in real people and they actually blackmail you, be careful how you walk, especially when you're young. Hear it again. Be careful how you walk, live your life when you're young, because the devil is going to come knocking for you to pay the piper's fiddle.